Let's start with the Sacramento device. The FBI and Sheriff's Department rushing to a post office in the south of the city this morning with a law enforcement source confirming to Fox News that Senator Kamala Harris, a potential candidate for the Democratic Party's presidential nomination in 2020, was the target of a suspicious package found there. We're told it was similar to the others that have been discovered this week, and that a trained postal employee first identified the package and reported it. And now we've been seeing the all-too-familiar scene of workers evacuated from the building as FBI, ATF, and Postal Service technicians deal with the device. Kamala Harris, of course, is a frequent critic of President Trump, like the other intended targets of the devices found this week. She's been crisscrossing the country in recent weeks, supporting Democrats in tight midterm elections and potentially, Shep, preparing the ground for a presidential run. Shep?
What else do you know about the package addressed to Tom Steyer?
Well, this one was discovered in Burlingame, just south of San Francisco. The FBI San Francisco office confirming the discovery and saying on Twitter a short time ago the device has now been removed from the post office facility to a safe off-site location. The target, as you were saying in this case, was the billionaire political activist Tom Steyer, who's been running a campaign to try to have President Trump impeached. In a statement a short time ago, Steyer's office confirmed he was the target, and Steyer himself said in part, quote, "We're thankful that everyone we work with at Next Gen America and need to impeach is safe. That's always our first priority and will continue to be our first priority." It's worth pointing out, Shep, that it is completely logical that if all these packages were mailed in Florida, the California-bound devices are being discovered a little later than the East Coast ones. And that fact alone, Shep, means a lot of politicians and every postal worker will likely remain on high alert on the West Coast over the weekend. Shep?
Jonathan Hunt live in our West Coast News Hub. Stuart Kaplan now, former FBI special agent who practices in South Florida and is live with us. The charges against this man, Stuart, include 5 federal counts: interstate transport of explosives, mailing of explosives, threats against a former president, making threatening interstate communications, and assault of current or former official. Adds up to 56 years, but that could be just the beginning of it.
That is correct, Shepard. And so you have to understand, right now the FBI has him back at the headquarters located in Miami, the Miami division. He has been read his constitutionally protected rights, as we know it as the Miranda warnings. If he so chooses to waive his right to remain silent, and he is interrogated and he is to provide additional information that may implicate himself or others, there could be additional charges that would be added on. Tomorrow, when he's brought before the magistrate, he will be brought on a complaint. Later on, that complaint will be converted to what is known as an indictment after the evidence is presented to a grand jury. So the charges as they stand now may be a lot less, ironically, than what ultimately he may be facing.
And rather than trying this down in South Florida, this will move to the Southern District of New York here in Lower Manhattan.
That is correct, because the Southern District has origin of jurisdiction with respect to the original package. And what you're seeing is law enforcement working very seamlessly together. There's not going to be any jurisdictional fight when it comes to these type of cases. Generally speaking, the national security cases, the terrorism cases are handled up in the Southern District of New York.
We've just gotten word from the Department of Justice. Their spokesperson just said that during that news conference, they misspoke, and actually the maximum that he faces is 48 years. But that's at the moment, and really it's going to depend on where this investigation goes. Do you have a sense for how many people are on this? It seems like they put the whole country on it.
Yeah, let me just say, you know, we're talking about the Joint Terrorism Task Force, which is made up of local, state, and federal partners. You're talking about 1,000, even in excess of 1,000 law enforcement officials, not only working here in the United States, but also abroad to ensure that nothing was missed. Now that we have an individual that has been apprehended, the priority now is to make a determination if he's willing to talk to us to see if there are any remaining devices that are out there so that we can retrieve them and neutralize them. And then, of course, the priority turns to, was he working in concert with others? If they are satisfied that there are no other co-conspirators, you're going to see a systematic stand down of the amount of agents and law enforcement partners that are going to be working around the clock.
Thank you for all of that. Appreciate it. So a great day in that they've got a suspect. The initial indication is they believe this is the only suspect, though the investigation does continue, and we'll have updates throughout the afternoon. Take a look at the Dow in the final seconds of trading today. We had about 30 seconds left. It's been off more than 400 points at one point, but now down